You know, it's funny how sometimes a good garden plant can be right underneath your nose. You're not really paying attention, and perhaps you're not giving it the respect that the plant deserves. In my case, with this Betony, that was very definitely the case. This is Stachys Hummelo, a very nice selection of the European Betony that was chosen by the Perennial Plant Association as their plant of the year in 2019. Now, as a young man growing up in Europe, I used to grow this plant, but never really thought that much of it. I knew that it was a European native that grew in grassland and meadows, and I suppose that kind of made me think of it as a kind of weedy type perennial. Never really paid that much attention to it. I knew, of course, that the ancient apothecaries used it for a wide variety of things that they wanted to cure. Things like blood pressure and headache, indigestion. They thought it warded off witches. The Romans planted it around their graveyards because they thought it deterred ghosts. They even had it where they thought it cured the effects of alcohol. Lots and lots of uses for the Betony, widely prescribed for its medicinal value. But as a garden plant, not really thought that much of it until Ernst Pagels, a famous German nurseryman, started breeding, and then he developed this selection, which he shared with his friend Pete Udolf, and he planted it in his garden in the naturalistic meadow-style displays in the town of Hummelo, and that's where the name of this plant came. Now, as it grew in the gardens, Pete loved the way that it just looked like a perfect meadow plant. He liked the fact that it had these strong, sturdy stems and carried these really very pretty little tulip tubular flowers on the tops of its growth. He liked the fact that it attracted in pollinating insects and butterflies and so on. And of course, the really nice rich green rippled effect of the foliage and the way it builds up a strong, sturdy clump that puts on a good show from early summer all the way through, if it's dead-headed, all the way through to the latter part of the summer and into the fall. Lots of really good reasons why it's become so popular. And if it's something that's planted out, will make sizable clumps that really do well in a sunny location and are not fussy about the soil types, just as long as they're free draining. So easy to grow, highly reliable, and also colorful. And now it's a plant that I now have a much greater respect for than I did in my earlier days. In Spain and Italy, there's a saying, sell your coat and buy Betony. Well, hopefully you don't need to sell your coat, but I hope you'll buy some Betony, and I hope also you'll be able to enjoy it for the lovely plant that it is. This is Stachys Hummelo.